Hi, Annette here. Many parents ask me about their child who is quite indecisive. They really struggle with making any kind of decision, even the most simplest ones. You might have heard them say, "Oh, I don't know, I don't mind," or "You choose." Maybe you're similar yourself, and quite often indecisions come from uncertainty, low self esteem, fear. They're afraid of making the wrong decisions, so they'd rather not. They're looking for reassurance, validation, or perhaps even approval from others. So quite often if you ask your child a question, they may reference you or look at you for the answer. And you may have the same when it comes to making decisions. Perhaps it's with some family members or a group of friends. You're deciding to go out somewhere or meet up somewhere, and they ask you, "Oh, where would you like to meet up?" And you say, "Oh, well, I don't mind," or "You choose," or I don't mind at all. Those kind of things. And of course, really, all of those phrases come from uncertainty, worry, fear, and indecision. So I'm going to share with you a few quick tips that's going to help you and also your child or children if you have them in your family. First of all, it's all about breaking it down into a few choices. So make it really, really simplistic, because the more we have to think about, the more we become overwhelmed, stressed, and the more we forget as well. So break it down into 2 or 3 choices. Now, the other day I went to the supermarket, socially distancing and things like that, and I got a little bit apprehensive about a toothpaste I wanted to buy. Now, it's the simplest of things. I need toothpaste, need to go and buy toothpaste. But when I was looking at all the different choices, I got a little bit, well, I don't know which one's the best for my teeth, because there must have been over 50 choices of toothpaste, the most simplest thing to buy. Okay, so I digress, but I'm sure you get the idea. Whenever we come up against having more than a few choices, then it becomes more stressful, worrying, and that's where the uncertainty and indecision comes from. So first of all, break it down into some really simple choices. So for example, if you're asking your child about making a decision, make it simple with maybe dinner. Dinner choices is a good one to start with. Is it fish or chicken? Or if you're a vegetarian like I am, is it a vegetable stir fry or something to do with a corn product, for example? Okay, so give them 2 choices. All they've got to choose is this or that. And it makes it much easier for them to have that reassurance that actually they're not being overwhelmed or overloaded with a load of different things that's just cramming their mind and it's making them feel really stressed and unhappy. It's just 2 choices. And once they've made that choice, encourage them, praise them, say well done. And perhaps if it is a food choice, once you've eaten that food, then again, offer them some praise and congratulations for making that choice and it being a good choice. Now, quite often, even when it comes to a few choices, you might think, well, I still don't know, or maybe your child does. And that brings me on to the next point, is that going on to asking them how they feel or what would they like to do. Now, I know in life and making bigger life decisions, of course, it's not always about what we want to do or what we'd like and how we feel. But this is all about breaking it down so it gives them the confidence to make those bigger life decisions when it's appropriate. So first of all, how do they feel? Well, do they fancy chicken or fish? Or if it was to do with an activity, do they want to do something indoors or outdoors? Ask them how to connect with their feelings. And when they do that, it actually brings them more confidence and the ability to question, well, actually, what do I want? What do I want to do? Or what do I want to eat? And then, of course, it helps develop those skills to strengthen them for other bigger decisions when it comes up. And the last thing, to offer them reassurance that actually in these really simple decisions, there's no right or wrong. Actually, a decision is based on the information and the situation that's happening right now. And I'll give you a quick example. If they were going to school and in the cupboards there was nothing in your house for breakfast other than perhaps some more things that you would have at a weekend, because we all have sort of different things at a weekend breakfast perhaps. So it might be croissants, pain au chocolat, crumpets, pancakes, things like that. So imagine they were going to school, there was nothing in the cupboards for breakfast other than something like that. Rather than not going to school with anything in their tummies, they would make a decision based on what's in front of them right now. So they might choose a croissant or a pancake or something else. That's a decision. They've made a decision, at least they've got something in their tummy to go off to school. They wouldn't normally make that decision, but it's based on what they have in front of them right now. So of course there is no right or wrong in terms of making decisions. Quite often we become indecisive because we're afraid of making the wrong decision, looking foolish in front of other people. So it's more comforting to sit on the fence, as it's known, or to allow somebody else to make that decision for us. So consider, evaluate, see what's in front of them right then and there in that situation, get them to choose what would be the best option. And then, of course, as the saying goes, hindsight is a wonderful thing. So it might be knowing what they know after they've made that decision, if they would choose a different option, if they would make a slightly different decision. So again, it builds that skill of decision making. It's a bit like a muscle. Our brain is a muscle as well. The more we actually practice these kind of skills, the better we get at it. So remember to break it down really simply for them. And if they find making a choice from one or two things easy, then of course add in 3 things, but no more than 3 things, because the more we add in, the more stressful it becomes. So I hope you found those quick tips really helpful. Share with me how they've been going with either yourself or your child.